everybody. If you're just joining the Rolonda show today, Toya Jackson is joining us. She's revealing what she claims is the truth behind many of the rumors that are now swirling around her brother Michael and his recent announcement of divorce. Toya, when you talked to Inside Edition, you said after a while, if you're supposedly married to a person and this person is spending a lot of time with little boys and you really don't exist as a person, which of course she knew, I guess that's Lisa, that in the beginning, the little boys are more important than she is, and you can only take so much of that. Where were you coming from there?
Well, I was asked, I think, the question. I didn't see the interview, so I don't know how they edited it together because you guys are great with your editing. However, I don't know how it was edited. However, on the other hand, what I was basically saying, they were asking me about the divorce.
In fact, the question is... the question, just so you know, the question that was asked you by the reporter is, what do you mean she could not take it anymore? And then you got specific with the little boys.
Well, once you're with the person and you're not living really with the person and it's all a facade for the public, you can only take so much of that. And in the beginning it was arranged to do this and she knew what her obligations were and what she was supposed to do, but after a while she couldn't take it anymore. It was just too much for her.
I understand there was a $15 million arrangement for this marriage. Is that what I hear you say?
There were monies involved.
Mm-hmm. As much as $15 million?
There were monies involved.
All right, we won't go there then. You know, so many of us saw that kiss at the music awards, and was that also all, in your opinion, a big setup?
That was, what do you think? Do you think that was staged or what?
Well, a lot of my friends didn't believe it.
Well, I tell you what, if you really watch this program carefully, Lisa's very shocked at the end. As she's walking out, she's shocked and she's embarrassed. It's like, I can't believe he kissed me finally after all this.
You say, according to you, you also say that they never did consummate the marriage.
No, I have never been in the same bed with the two of them.
I was about to say, Toya, how do you know that?
Because I've never been in the same bed with the two of them, so I am not the one to say that. However, to my knowledge, knowing him and knowing how he feels about ladies, no, I don't think he would ever consummate that marriage.
Oh, now, what does he feel about ladies?
Listen to the audience. I can't believe this. I wish I could see you guys, but I can't.
I know. Toya, they're having a good time here. It's like
I know, they could see me and they have no idea. I'm looking in this little hole about this big.
We're on the other end here in another nation.
I can hear.
But what do you, from your listening, and what does Michael think of women based upon what you've heard and experienced?
No, based upon what he's actually told me repeatedly throughout the years and the way he's felt about them. And he's actually had no interest whatsoever. So this was quite unusual and quite different.
Is your brother gay?
You know, you are so you are so blunt and very. You're just.
I'm just good, Toya. I'm just good.
You're just good. Is that what it is?
You know, Toya, for many years.
You are the only one. You know, lots of people interview me, and you're the only one. You just get right to the point.
I cut right to the chase. Now, you know something, Toya? I'm one of, if not few of the talk show hosts who has been a journalist for many years, and I believe in that old thing, so the people shall know. So that's where I'm coming from. But is he gay?
You know, let's put it this way. My mother has always said that he's, I hate to use this word, she's always said that he's a faggot.
Who said that?
My mother. She would always say this. And I would always say, Mother, you shouldn't say that. And she said, well, he is. And she would always say that. However, I don't know if there's a difference of being gay and a person who likes to be with little boys.
Very big difference. Very big difference. Very big difference.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you're with children, it's called a pedophile.
Right.
But if you're going to be with an adult, that's different.
So what you're saying is it's not that that you don't believe that he's, or you're not saying whether you believe if he's gay or not, but you're more concerned about him maybe being labeled a pedophile.
Being with them. And it's wrong. It's not right. It's not fair because you're destroying innocent children's lives.
Toya, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go. It's a tough one. There are a lot of people who say Why in the world would anybody put their own blood brother in front of the entire world and beat the stew out of him this way? If you knew... Wait a minute. There are a lot of folks who say if he's got that kind of a problem, LaToya, get him help. Don't bash him in front of the world.
You are so right. And you know what? I've asked him to get help, and he doesn't get help. He doesn't return calls. He could care less about it. You have to remember, he did this to himself. I didn't do it to himself. He did it. I'm not the one out there that are paying little boys to do things to me. He's the one who's doing it, so don't blame me.
Well, when we
After all, I have told Michael, I said, listen, you need help. I wish he would do what Hugh Grant did. Hugh Grant went on television and he says, okay, I made a mistake. This is terrible. I was a bad boy. I wish Michael would say, listen, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I've done a lot of things that are wrong, but I'm going to seek help.
And your parents?
I'm very, very sorry.
Your parents?
I wish he would say that and get it all clear and out of the way and go on with this life and move on. Stop hiding and running.
Have your parents been able to talk with him at all? I would think, God, this must be breaking your parents' heart, even if the allegations surrounding. How are your parents dealing with this?
Well, my parents, he doesn't really... Michael calls whenever he wants. You can call him to death, and he will never return a call until he feels like it. If he's occupied with his little friends, you can forget it. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you one other thing.
We've got a lot of questions here in the audience, LaToya. We're going to take a quick break. I got to take a commercial break. A lot of questions here. Sure. And also, LaToya is going to tell us what it was like growing up with this music legend. We'll be right back in a minute. What's your question? Something outrageous, unusual, or horrible happened during your wedding or honeymoon, and it was all caught on video? We'd sure like to see it. Please call at 1-800-4-ROSE-SHOW, or you can send email to roseshow@aol.com. Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing our conversation today with LaToya Jackson. LaToya, I got to ask you this. If all of these things that you are alleging against your brother are true, all the things that you're coming out saying and you knew about them, then why aren't you just as guilty because you didn't say anything about it before?
No. But you know, it gets to the point where, you know why? Now, I'll tell you something. When I wrote my book, the entire world did not believe one word of it, and eventually the truth prevailed, and everything came true, and they were against me. You guys were totally against me, and then eventually there were all these abused victims that were writing letters. The same thing, if I would have said something about this, you would have said, oh, she's lying and she's making this up. You ask me a question, I give you an answer.
I have read some interviews, and you said that these days you don't trust anybody. That maybe that goes back to the abuse that you claim. Maybe it's because your mother knew about the abuse, I understand, and didn't say anything, according to you. Tell me about your trust issues.
No, I don't trust anyone, and I never will.
Why? Why don't you tell me in your own words?
Because I feel if you can't trust your own parents, then who can you trust?
How has this affected your life as a woman?
Well, it hasn't been easy for me in that sense. I've lived my life, I've moved on, I've forgotten about it for many, many years, meaning that I'm not going to dwell on guys. It's not so important to me, and it wasn't important to me. However, it took me forever to consummate my marriage with my husband, and finally I did this September.
This September you did? Oh, you can clap. How was it?
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Sir. Toya, let's go back to the family trust. With that, do you trust yourself?
Yes.
Concerning the fact with your brother, all the allegations with your brother, do you trust yourself?
That you're right?
Yes, of course I do.
That you're right.
Mm-hmm. She says yes. Yes, sir. Another question here. Stand up, please.
I really can't understand with the scandal that you're pulling right now. I mean, on your whole family. You said trust. You have benign them on national TV. I mean, before
that's not
everybody.
True.
You just called Michael a faggot.
No, I didn't. I said mother calls him that.
You actually labeled.
Don't say that word again.
No,
you actually label him
No. I said my mother called him that. You're absolutely wrong.
Yeah, but you're repeating something.
At the same time,
LaToya, you're actually repeating something.
You create your own circumstances.
But you're actually repeating something that your mother has said to you.
I answered for you. You asked me a question, I'm going to answer
but still
it.
in all, with Michael's life and with the people out here that really like him and respect him, I mean, this doesn't help him.
But he has a problem.
But this does not help him. Doing this on national TV really doesn't help him. Excuse me. It really doesn't.
And we'll be right back in a minute. Thank you, sir.
He's very wrong.
Hey, did you enjoy that? If so, hit the like button so we'll get an idea of the types of topics you like. Also, be sure to hit the notification button and subscribe so that every time a new video is uploaded, you'll be the first to know. So go on and subscribe and get that notification bell so you'll be alerted, and hit the like button. Please leave a comment on the types of topics you'd like me to cover.
Before I let you ask this question, LaToya, I gotta ask you, how's the snake? What's the python's name?
They're fine. Well, actually, it's two of
How many do you have? 3?
Rolonda.
It's a boa constrictor, and
boa constrictor.
it's a python. And a python.
Wow. And you just love them, right?
Do I what?
You just love the snakes like pets, right?
Well, they are pets, yes.
Ooh, okay. A poodle wouldn't do, huh?
Well, no, I have dogs too. Don't get me wrong.
Okay. Here's another question from the audience.
Yes, what I would like to ask you, has Michael confided in you and said that he has done things with little children?
Has he confided and told me this?
Yes, has he himself come to you and say, LaToya, I have done these things with little children?
People have seen him do these things around him, and I have also seen him act in an unorderly way with little kids, and he knows this. And I won't tell you how far I've seen.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. You have actually seen him do things with little children?
In an unorderly way, yes, definitely.
Can you kind of explain what unorderly means?
I prefer not to go into it, Rolonda.
Okay. Another way that you...
Because you're just opening up another can of worms. And this is what I say. You guys ask a question and I answer it, and then you condemn me for answering it.
Let me ask you this.
But you must remember that, all of you must remember that I have never done anything to Michael or my family. They've done what they've done to themselves. When you read something on the news, it's because he's done it to himself. What you guys have to remember is that he's destroying innocent children's lives. When you do this to children, you take them and you do things to them, they're being destroyed for the rest of their lives. It's a scar that's left on them for their life.
LaToya, I hope and pray that you are wrong. I really do. Your brother has brought so much joy to so many people, particularly children.
He sure has.
I hope
and, you know
and pray you are wrong.
And you know that you're so right. But you know what?
Go on, LaToya. What were you saying?
I wish that he would get help. And what you guys are getting mixed up is that you know the entertainer, Michael Jackson. You don't know the individual. And they're two different people.
What's your question, ma'am?
And that's
actually, it's not a question, it's advice. I wasn't there, so I wouldn't say anything on that. But you'll have a problem, you'll need to solve it, because the same way it affected you, it'll affect your kids and grandkids, so you'll need help. Think about the kids.
No, he needs help. He needs help. He needs to help himself.
All of y'all need help. All of y'all need help because all of y'all been abused. So y'all need help because it is going to affect your kids. They're hearing. They may not be seeing, but they hear about it because it's on the news.
And we need to bring it out in the open. That's one of the most important things about it, to bring awareness to it. And that's why the book was written, to bring awareness to it, so people can speak out and speak openly.
LaToya, you know, if you watch our show, one thing that I'm real big on, goodness knows, and the Rolonda family is big on, is family therapy. Have you guys, I mean, because we have our own problems here, and I can imagine with all the press and all the fame in your family that your problems are that much more escalated as a family. What about therapy? therapy for the rich and famous. I mean, have you guys really as a family or as individuals gone to seek help to put all of these difficult things in your past in perspective so you can have a beautiful future individually and as a family?
What you must remember, Rolonda, is that when you're in denial, such as my family, you will never go and seek help. They won't do it. They won't go to a therapist because they feel that it's okay. Everything's all right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I think that you're jealous of Michael and Janet's success, and you do whatever it is to get attention because you're like a have-been. Why can't you be like Rebe Jackson and just lay back and enjoy what they're doing?
Your question, I find it quite funny simply because you have no idea. I'm not jealous of them whatsoever. I love my family. I love my brothers and sisters. And Rebe is actually, she's always working on albums and making albums, and she knows what's going on as well.
Yes.
Like the young lady said over there, that Michael need help. I think you need help.
Up here. Come on.
I think you're wrong, but you need it too as well, probably, if you're thinking that.
Coming up next, Latoya is going to settle some rumors that have been following her family, and we're just going to keep talking about all this stuff and bring some more folks on too. So don't leave, okay? And we'll get to your questions. All right. Something outrageous, unusual, or horrible happened during your wedding or honeymoon, and it was all caught on video? We'd sure like to see it. Please call at 1-800-4-ROSE-SHOW, or you can send email to roseshow@aol.com. Talking with Latoya Jackson. Latoya, we just had a little factoid up on our screen there that talked about the amount of plastic surgery that Michael has had. 6 times under the knife? That's a lot. Hello?
I'm here.
Have you had Have you had plastic surgery?
Yes, I had my nose done.
Did it hurt?
Did it hurt?
Yeah, what was that like?
No, it didn't hurt, Rolonda.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt at all.
You have a lovely nose.
No, they brought in the sides.
No. Would you think you'd do it again?
When they bring it in?
Yeah. Do you think you'd do it again?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, there was a rumor swirling around that when Michael got sick and fainted on the stage for the HBO special, that was all a crock. What do you think?
Well, I know that we used to pull that a lot. When you're under a lot of pressure and you're under a lot of stress and you can't meet a deadline, what you do is you just hold your breath in the whole bed and you just kind of like fall out and faint. So when I heard about it, I called my mother immediately, and she wasn't home, but she called back. I think I returned the call in about 10 minutes, I believe it was, 10 minutes to a half hour.
Okay.
And she told me that there was absolutely nothing wrong with him. He'll be coming home that night or the following morning. Yeah. He's totally okay.
What is your relationship with your sister Janet? How is your relationship?
I don't see Janet as much.
Do you guys get along
She's traveling all the time. I don't see her as much.
Do you get along as sisters? I mean, are you guys tight?
We're not tight, but yes, we get along. Mm-hmm. Because we never really see each other.
That's a good way to get along with a family member, believe me. Yes, ma'am.
When you're big and you're traveling all the time, it's difficult. You know, there's so many of us going in different directions.
Sure.
Everybody has different careers.
That's right.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say, as for your last remark, Janet doesn't seem to have many nice things to say about you when she does the interviews with Essence. And I also wanted to know, with a family as big as yours, how come you're the only one saying these things? Rebe and Janet and Tito and Jermaine and Randy, none of them are saying anything. What's going on? You have, 9, 10 siblings or something, plus a love child, and nobody's coming out but you.
Yes, I have 9 of them. You're right. And you know why I'm the only one that's speaking out?
Why?
Because everyone's afraid to speak out the truth, and because Michael is taking care of all of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. And if they say one thing against them, they're cut off, and that's the fear, and that's what they're afraid of.
You know, there are.
And you have to remember, when you talk about things like this, Jermaine wrote, what's it called, a word to the bad? I mean, that's the worst thing he could have done. So I'm not the one that's out there. Jermaine's always condemning Michael because he doesn't feel what Michael's doing is right. But then there are times when he changes his mind and says, okay, then I'm going to say it's okay. The next day he says, I don't agree with what he's doing. It's bad. It's wrong. But then it's yes, it's okay.
LaToya, you told one reporter that you were concerned about threats against you. Is that true?
They're documented, yes.
Documented from whom?
I really don't care to talk about that, Rolonda. This is not the proper time to talk about.
Okay, so that's over, right?
But they are documented.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You know, I have two brothers of my own, and every family has their problems. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here listening to everything you're saying, and I just can't understand. You say you love your family members. No matter how much you fight, argue, with the good times, the bad times, I could never see myself go on national television, humiliate my brother. You know, it hurts. I'm sitting here and doing that to your own family member, and I think what the problem here is, do you really know what love is? Because you say he has to come out with this and talk about it and deal with it. Do you think this is the right way to go about it? And you want to help these young children? Okay, how have you helped them? Just by discussing this?
LaToya?
No, you know what? I have stopped a lot of it because he was very open and blatant with what he was doing at one point, and he's decided to hide it even more so. However, at the same time, what you must remember that I'm not making these things against him, these allegations against him. He did this to himself. You guys asked me a question, I'm going to answer it. But you must remember, yes, I am helping the little children when I speak out, so they'll know it's wrong. Wouldn't you be upset about it too?
I'd be upset.
Will you try to do something about it?
LaToya, I would be upset, and I would get him to a psychiatrist as quickly as I could.
But if you can't do it, you can't do it. He doesn't listen.
Yes, sir. Or LaToya,
Rolonda.
I would call the police.
Rolonda, you know what?
What?
You know what?
What?
Michael doesn't listen to anyone. He didn't even listen to Lisa. Before Lisa divorced him, she called him to let him know that she was going to divorce him. And do you know that he would not accept her call? And not only that, she tried again, and he wouldn't even return her call.
Why'd your mom hang up on you 3 times on Christmas Day?
You know, I'd like to know that too.
Huh? She'd like to know, are y'all going through a mother-daughter rift kind of thing?
No, not at all. Not at all.
But on Christmas Day, your mom hangs up on you?
Well, Christmas Day is nothing for us because we were Jehovah's Witnesses, so it's not like we all get together for the holiday and celebrate. It's just another day. But I decided to call that day because I was in Europe at the time, and I called her, and that's basically what happened 3 times, but she tells me that she didn't.
Maybe there's a problem with the phone or something.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Okay,
She said there's a problem with the phone. That's exactly what she said.
LaToya, right off the bat, how much of a kickback from this book, all these things you're doing, how much is the family getting out of this? Anything?
None of your business.
Kickback from the book? What are you talking about, kickback from the book?
Is the family making any money off your book? Of course not.
My book was written years ago, and what I made from my book went to abused kids to help them.
Okay. Coming up next, the burning question. Did Michael Jackson really leave sexy underwear all around his bedroom for his workers to find and think he was having wild sex? We'll ask that question when we come back. Conversation today with LaToya Jackson, who is in London, joining us via satellite. Yes, ma'am, you have a question.
Rolonda, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Before we go any further, you would actually call the police on your own brother?
Absolutely. If you're messing with little kids in a sexual manner, that is a crime. You go to jail.
You would call the police on your own brother?
Own brother. You better believe it.
You see, I waited for him to go and seek help, which he never did.
I would try to get him to seek...
I waited for him to seek help.
I would definitely try to get him to seek help first.
But I cannot get him to seek help. So I can't even imagine how he could do that. Now, if I would have called the police, you guys would have said, how could she call the police on her own brother? I'm going to tell you something. I stayed out of the state of California for many years. For many, many years. The reason why is because they wanted to subpoena me, and I didn't want to testify against my own brother. And that's why I stayed out.
I don't know on that issue. I'm glad that's something I don't have to
No,
worry
it does matter.
Yeah.
It does matter. It's very important.
Let's bring in some more journalists. Who's that yelling in the background back there, LaToya? That's your husband?
Sorry?
Who is that screaming in the background there? Is that Jack?
No, he's not screaming. He's talking.
Oh, hi, tell Jack we said hey.
Hello.
Peter Bird is joining us now from The Star, and Mike Lewittis of the New York Daily News. And you got, in fact, wasn't it your tabloid there that said, talked about the underwear all over the room? What was that about?
That's exactly right. The Star did a story last week. We had 5 former staffers that used to work at the Michael Jackson Ranch, and Adrienne McManus was his maid and his personal maid that went into Michael Jackson's room. She's one of the few people that have a key to actually get into his room, and she said she would find lingerie spread out all over his bed, or he'd hide it under his bed or between the mattress, and sometimes it smelled like perfume, and it was like Michael did it just on purpose to make it seem like he'd had a girl in there that night, or as he started dating Lisa Marie Presley, if she was staying over, he'd act like Lisa Marie stayed there. But the other staffer said Lisa Marie never stayed there. They said she was always in guest suite number 4, and Michael was in the main house, and it would be locked down every night, and nobody could get in there, and Lisa Marie would always be locked in her guest suite.
So they kind of saw something strange going on in this couple's life, too.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that they said, the former Neverland staffer said that Michael Jackson never took Lisa Marie's calls. I mean, much like LaToya said a little while ago, when Lisa Marie would call, she was never on the priority list. But Macaulay Culkin, he was on the priority list. So if Macaulay called, wherever Michael was, he had to be found on the grounds, and then he had to be located, and the call had to be patched through to him immediately. Macaulay, there's several other names, including the same 13-year-old boy who had the lawsuit and got the settlement against Michael Jackson.
Huh. There was also, I read in one of these tabloids, not that I read tabloids, but another thing that I read in the tabloids about him bugging his wife's room and hearing sex talk
That's
with
exactly
the ex-husband.
Right. That's in the Star this week. It's in the Star that's in the stands this week. And it was our next story. We had known before that Michael, bugged a lot of people, even Elizabeth Taylor. That's been printed before. Several former employees have come forward and said that. Michael spies on their phone calls. He bugs their rooms. He likes to videotape with secret cameras. He likes to do he's got all kinds of toys out there at Neverland Ranch, and he loves to play with them. And one of the toys is a little room that he has in his master bedroom where he goes in, and the security guards will bring in all these tapes, and he'll listen to reel-to-reels, and he'll watch videos and everything else. Now, during the time when he and Lisa Marie were getting ready to get divorced, there were several, in the last months, there were several phone calls between Lisa Marie and her ex-husband, Danny Keough. They started off innocent enough. Lisa Marie would call, just want to speak to Danny about the kids. I mean, it's understandable. He's the father of their children. But then Lisa Marie got really frustrated because Michael wasn't paying any attention to her. He didn't have time for her. He would ignore her, although he did have a lot of time for these young boys that he would travel off to, Paris with, which he did twice last year. He didn't have time for her. So she started talking to Danny Keough about the good old times, and they started talking about sex. And
real good old times.
Yeah, the real good old times. And it really got into, they had phone sex over the lines. And unbeknownst to Lisa Marie, Michael was listening to these calls. And it kind of ticked him off.
Okay. Michael, have you heard any word about this woman? They've taken a shot of Michael with a woman, and already folks are starting to say, he's moving on.
Well, this mystery woman, her name is Karen Faye, and it's not really a mystery who she is. She's Michael's makeup woman.
Karen Faye's Michael's makeup artist.
Woman, right.
She's been a makeup artist for many years.
They've probably spent more time together than any other two people,
And Karen's married. She has a child, I believe. Karen's married.
Yeah, she is married.
She's married.
Karen's married.
She's married.
So they did this big publicity
But
ploy.
whoever this Michael is that's talking at the moment.
Michael Lewittis from the Daily News.
LaToya Smith.
Everything he's saying it's true. It's very, very true what he's saying, and this is very true. Lisa would always try to reach him. He would never take her calls, but he always had time to fly away with little boys and go and spend time with them, but never with her. And they never really stayed together, and that's what you guys don't understand. It was all planned. It was arranged.
There was another thing in the tabloids again that said that Macaulay Culkin said, "Beat it, Michael," when he called him for some help or something. There was some kind of telephone. Do you know anything about that? That Macaulay Culkin basically snubbed Michael recently when he was going through some difficult times.
Well, Macaulay's going through enough difficult times of his own right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really want to be linked to Michael Jackson right now. He's got his parents fighting over custody for him, and of course his millions. So he's trying to distance himself from Michael and other scandalous stories right now.
Okay. And plus Macaulay gets pressure from his friends because of the allegations, and he feels like it's no longer cool to hang out with Michael Jackson.
Oh.
Because they call him names, much like the one Michael's mother called him.
Okay. What does the future hold for LaToya? We're going to ask you that when we come back. And also, we want to have some fun, LaToya. Do you like psychics? We've got a
It depends if they're legitimate or not.
Yeah, she's pretty good. We're going to have you talk to a psychic when we come back. We'll be right back. Let me just also point out here, to be fair, that Joe Jackson, LaToya Michael's dad, has previously stated that accusations of molestation and abusing his children are not true. So just to be fair, let me give that statement. Renowned psychic. Boy, we're about to switch gears a little bit now. Grace Grella? Grace Grella joins us, and she's going to read a chart or two. You know, LaToya, first of all, do you go to psychics?
Do I go to psychics?
Yeah, just for fun or anytime?
Well, I believe in certain psychics.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. What do you have? Grace, what did you come up with?
Hi, LaToya. I wish I was meeting you in person. You look absolutely gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only information they gave me about you was your birth date. I didn't run a chart on you. I just need to key in to what astrology sign you are, and you're a Gemini. Is that correct?
Yes,
Are you a Gemini?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
The first thing I felt about you is that you were going to translate this book into a movie, or that you would be able to get some sort of recognition for as an actress. Okay? I felt that.
No, my family did that.
But you were going to do one yourself, almost
No,
like.
never.
Never?
No.
All right.
No.
All right. It might not be about your life, but I do see you in a movie that you would get recognition for your acting ability, honey. All right? I also felt that there was something to do on a business level, that you were going to get involved with fashion, either starting your own fashion line or getting involved in clothing on some level. And do you have any questions for me? Because I would love to assist you and give you any insight that I'm capable of to give you.
Do I have any questions at the moment? Jeez. I can't think of any at the moment, to be quite honest with you, no.
And also, I also felt that there was something to do in France. Were you going to get involved in some sort of stage production in Paris? Has anyone discussed this with you as of yet?
Sort of, slightly, it's been discussed.
Okay, well, I get a very positive feeling about that, and I feel that that's really going to be a wonderful springboard for you with positive recognition in the entertainment industry in the field, besides all the sensationalism that you've, God bless you, had to experience.
LaToya,
Thank you.
Do you want to have kids? You want to be a mom? I mean, do you dream things like that?
Yes, I do want to have children, very much so. As a matter of fact, when she asked me if I wanted to ask a question, I started to ask that, and I said, no, I better not.
Well, I'll ask it. What do you say for children for LaToya?
I felt LaToya was going to have two beautiful children, a son and a daughter.
Yeah. Is that soon? Do you see that soon?
I felt June of next year, so I don't know if that's when you'll conceive or that's when you'll have the child, honey. I don't know. I felt June of 90. We're in 96 here, and June of 97 was going to be very significant with that for you.
Good
and
news.
it was going to bring you a lot of joy and happiness. Pardon?
Yes.
Do you see anything in the stars for any of the other Jacksons while we're talking of the Jacksons?
Well, Janet, God bless her, they're just all so talented. It's phenomenal. But with Janet, I really feel that she's going to be expanding her career outside of the music also, all right, and getting involved with film, the film industry, all right. Michael, I feel, is just going to become more reclusive and more introspective because of the situation with Lisa Marie.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel Lisa Marie will remarry, though, within a 2-year time frame.
Any questions from the audience? Yes, sir. Stand up.
Yeah, LaToya, are you still doing Playboy?
No, I'm not.
Any plans to do No plans to do Playboy again? Oh,
well, I've been offered to do it.
Toya, you seem to be very upset. while we're looking at you, what kind of relationship do you intend on having with your parents now? And your family?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you guys very well.
What kind of relationship do you plan on having with your family now? You love them so much, your brothers, your sister. You've come on national TV and exposed all of your family dirt.
No, it's not that. You guys asked me a question and I answered. It's not a matter of exposing it. This is nothing new. This has been in the tabloids all the time. This is nothing new.
Next.
Hi, LaToya. What are your immediate goals, and how are you celebrating Valentine's Day?
Good question.
You know, to be quite honest with you, we've never really celebrated holidays.
Oh, you gotta do Valentine's Day.
We've never really done it.
Tell Jack to take you out for a candlelight dinner and y'all start working on those children. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, I read someplace that your father had cheated on your mother for a period of time. I wanted to know if that was true.
Well, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, yes, I have an illegitimate sister, and I've never seen her before, actually, but I've always wanted to see her, and Michael and I have always been interested in knowing who she is and knowing about her. And my mother would always tell us that it wouldn't be right or fair to her to do that, so we didn't really try to do that.
It seems with all the trials and tribulations your family has gone through throughout the history, you are a great family in the entertainment business. But with all this media, it seems that it's best to be Tito, if anybody else in the family, because you guys are really going through a lot, and I think you should really take time out and just let go of the past and start working on the present and the future.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I would love to do that.
We'll be right back in a minute with more from LaToya. We're about done now. LaToya, I want to thank you so much for being with us. We stuck it to you. We asked you some tough ones, but you hung in there and you answered honestly, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, LaToya. Good luck to you in the future. And I want to thank my panel guests. Thank you so much for your insight and your reporting, and thank you all. And let's just hope that the next time LaToya is on, she'll bring maybe some little bundles of joy with her. Good luck on Valentine's Day, sweetie. We thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Rolonda. Thanks, folks. Thank you.